Greek lamb in a Dutch oven. Does it get any better?
No, I don't think there is. And it's actually pretty simple, but super delicious. I have here 3.5 kilo of lamb thighs, beautiful Greek lamb, that we're gonna give a light trim for excess fat. So if you find any big chunks like this, then we're just gonna trim that off. Because there is a lot of intramuscular fat here, so it will get juicy on its own. So let's just trim the worst here. Let's prepare our garlic, which is absolutely mandatory. 2 large cloves here. We're gonna cut them into batons. First we slice them like this. And then we cut them this way in, let's say, 2 times, so we get some sticks that we can squeeze into the meat. I'll show you how we do that. There we go, into a bowl. And then we're gonna give it a small squeeze of olive oil just to act as a binder, which I know you think is not necessary, but I do. So a good amount of salt. You cannot really over salt these, but you want to have them to carry some salt and pepper into the meat when you stick them in. Give this a good stir. So, looks nice. And with a pointy knife, we create holes into the meat. Take one of our garlic batons here and we push it in. It can be a little bit challenging, but we'll make it work. Use your fingers and it will get in there. Take another hole here, because this will infuse a lot of good flavor into the meat. Next, we deal with the potatoes. I have here 2 kilos of baby potatoes, washed and cleaned, nice. But first we're gonna give a small squeeze of oil to our oven pot here, so we don't get anything sticking in the bottom. Just give that a quick around here with the oil. That. And then we are simply gonna halve them straight into the pan. And we're doing these skin on because that gives a lot of nice flavor and texture to the dish. Plus
some vitamins.
Because actually all the vitamins, they are in the skin of the potatoes. The meat is just starch. And the last potatoes into our pot. Then we're gonna take our beautiful lamb here and nestle them in here, squeeze them down so they have down in the potatoes. Move the potatoes a little bit around so that you get them sort of down a little bit.
It's a love story, they have to cook together.
Yeah, they have to cook together, so move a little bit around like that. That looks beautiful. And then we move on with our sauce. We start that with 1/2 liter of chicken broth. You could use wine or even water if you don't have chicken broth, but that gives some extra depth. 300 milliliter of extra virgin olive oil. And the juice of, shall we say, 4 lemons? What do you say?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. It's Greek, we can't have too much lemon. So. And I'll show you how that's gonna emulsify really nice once we whisk it in a bit. For the spices, we are keeping it simple. 1 tablespoon of freshly ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of mustard powder. You could use mustard, but mustard powder blends better in the sauce. 2 tablespoons of oregano. And then I would say, we have a lot of potatoes, quite a lot of meat. Let's say 3 big tablespoons of sea salt. Because as you've noticed, we only put a little bit of salt on the garlic we put in the meat, so we need to have some salt in there. And 2 cloves of minced garlic. And then we're gonna give this a thorough whisk.
It's so simple to make that recipe and so tasty, it's amazing.
That is a one-pot wonder.
Well, there will be more lamb recipes coming up from various parts of the world, but
That's for
let's
sure.
start with a Greek one.
But now you will notice here that because of the oil and the lemon juice, this starts emulsifying, so it gets a little bit thicker actually. And that will form a nice sauce once we cook it and it gets the fat from the lamb. And then we simply pour this glorious liquid over our meat and potatoes here. Let me see. And make sure you cover the meat because that's where the salt will come from. And all around our potatoes. And if we're going to need some liquid down the road, we might add some white wine in the middle of the cook. We will see. But for now, this is what it's going to get. That's it. Then we cover this up. Our nice, beautiful gastronome size 1-1. And it goes straight into the oven on the middle rack, preheated to 200 degrees. And we let that go for an hour before we check in on it. An hour in, let's give it a check, see how we're doing.
The smell is sublime though.
The smell is fantastic. Definitely it's not finished yet, but we need to see where we are.
We are curious, see how it's doing.
Well, it definitely smells good. Let's see where we are on the temperature and the feel of it here. We're only at 52, that has ways to go. But I'm thinking, if we're not further than this, then I'm thinking we will cover it and give it another half hour under cover before we
penetrate also the potatoes. I want to see how soft they feel.
But they're not soft yet.
Oh, okay, so
there
definitely half an hour, maybe even 45 minutes.
Yeah, covered.
Covered for sure.
And then at the end, probably we will give it a little bit under the broiler to get some browning on the meat, but we will see that at the end. So back in the oven she goes. We gave it another 45 minutes. Let's have a look, see how it's going. Ooh, it smells good. Ooh.
Oh la la.
That's starting to pull together now. Let's put this down. Let's see where we are in the temperature. 77, yeah. So we are getting there, but it's not done yet because we want to go, let's say, fall off the bone style. We added 250 milliliter of water to the sauce just to get a little bit more volume of sauce. But now we're going to put it back in the oven and we're going to let it go uncovered so we get some browning on the lamb. Maybe, as I said before, we will do it under the broiler at the end, but we will see. Now we give it at least half an hour more, but uncovered. Let's see how we're doing. Definitely smells divine. The whole kitchen here is like...
The whole hood.
The whole neighborhood, yeah. Oh, that looks beautiful. We got nice color on them.
Yeah.
And it's peeling off the bones. You see the pullback here on the bones. It's excellent. I don't care about the temperature, actually. I just want to feel the meat here, but let's see. It's like completely like butter. It's perfect. But if you want to know the temperature, we are registering there mid-90s, 93, 94. But it's by feel.
Yes.
And this is really amazing. Perfect. I'm happy with that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cover it up and then let it cool for 15-20 minutes down to good eating temperature. So, you decided to join me today?
Yes, in the honor of our first lamb dish.
And it smells amazing.
Let's taste it. Oh my. It's like a bonbon, guys, that meat.
It's full of the bone, it's tender, it's juicy.
Try the potatoes.
We have to try the potatoes
They
also.
get so nice flavor, you know, from the juices of the meat. Oh, mama.
That's actually all the money. The potatoes, they get all that from the rendered fat from the lamb. It's perfect. Really, this simple lamb recipe, you should give it a shot.